printing. Okay. So we are about a third down from the page, Ayin. The line starts with kuli kanav v'koil echad, close parentheses. The line before it is pnimiut hakavon. The line after it is bechol pnimiut. So, it explained that the principle of bechirah the choice of bechirah, the choice that comes, that correctly is described by the word bechirah is that the identity of that which is being chosen is first created by the bechirah. Like it says in the last thing, to want that which is pnimiut and that's already bechirah. So we explained this is seeming difficult to kind of grasp. What does it mean? If this is his ratzono, how can it be that he needs bechirah in this? This is pnimiut saying that this itself has to be chosen. What is the rationale in this? How do we approach this concept? And yet this is a very important principle in this. And we explained, and this is important to understand. There's a fundamental difference between the human involvement, the human choice, and I've been talking about Lamaila, the way it is Lamaila. Even we have the mashal here of the chassidus, the father making a chassidus for his son. And we say that this is really this is a pnimiut Ayin by the father. It's an atzmi Ayin. This atzmi Ayin is something which engages the father. The father cannot free himself from that atzmi Ayin. This is him. This is his mitzvah. His reality is expressing the fact that he has a son. And therefore, this choice, even though we say it's called a choice, because it is not something that he chooses after the fact. He looks at something and he says, oh, I like it. This is something which comes from the essence itself. It's pre-chosen, so to speak. But nevertheless, in this inyan that it's pre-chosen, there is no choice. This is him. Whereas Lamaila, this is where the whole mashal fails. What is pnimiut hakavon? That itself is a decision. That itself is a decision. He is absolutely not bound. He is free to assign pnimiut hakavon status to anything that he chooses. Even as the Gemara says, and we quote this many times, it really boggles the mind. I mentioned, I think, Thursday. And the Gemara says, there was choshech up his heim, at that point, it is choshech and oyer. At that point, I don't know what he chooses. Choshech or Choshech and Oir are diametrically opposed. And we don't know which ones to choose. In other words, it's totally free, totally unbound by anything, by any quality, by any definition. If he chooses Oir, it is because he chose Oir. And this is where it's perplexing. If Oir and Choshech, he can choose either, what in fact is the choice? Where is the choice coming from?
In other words, why does it choose oil?
Yeah, why? What does it mean he chose Oir? And we say that his choice is very profound. It engages the whole etz. To the extent, like we have in back the moshe of the chassan, that no matter the fact that the chassan have an open expanse, and he has all kinds of guests at the chassan, and all kinds of celebrations. Even strangers are also included. He says also adds to the simcha and so forth. After all is said and done, there is something that remains unique. That is it started by itself, and that remains. That cannot be confused. That cannot be diminished, mixed with anything, to the extent that even if there is all a mixture, it will ultimately surface independent by itself. So this choice, got from etzem. What does it mean from etzem? Everything comes from the etzem. The whole creation comes from the etzem. Effectively, as we said the other day, this is where the etzem chooses to identify itself with something. The etzem does not have an identity. So this bechirah is where the etzem identifies itself, chooses, like he says over here. To want that which is pnimiut is also a decision. It's an extremely difficult thing. I just want to perhaps approach it from a slightly different angle so that you get a sense of it to the extent possible. Hashem is not bound in any which way to create a world. There is nothing compelling within Atzmus to choose to create a world. This choice of creating a world, it says, Bochar Kodesh Baruch Hu be'ilomei. This choice in creating the world is a choice, an internal choice, to make himself a creator and to reveal himself. This is what the choice is. What does this mean from our perspective? We're going in circles a little bit, but we're going in circles because we have to know clearly that there is not a actual grasp on this. But nevertheless, what is the circle about? The important point is this is what we always have to remember. Yes, indeed, Hashem created the world. Yes, indeed, we identify all kinds of different things in the world. Like Lamailo, Lamato, Udala, Sitra. And there are infinite varieties in the world, and the world itself is kind of represents infinity. The Shemayim, there's no end to it. The central principle of this existence of the world is the godly presence, is the godly choice that it should be.
To remain on this call, press 1.
Give it another chance.
Returning to the conference room.
There is not a presence of the world, but for the fact that there is a godly presence that wants, that chooses it, and gives it a presence because he is there with it. This is the bechirah. Bechirah is something which is not of quality; it is the essence. In other words, the essence chooses to be present with the world, and that makes the world a world. That gives the world a presence. The world does not have an aspect of existence, but for the fact that there is a godly presence with it. On a broad scale, this is not possible to discuss now, but this is going back to our very useful illustration of the case of the host and the guest. And if we point out, it's an amazing thing. This is something which we all relate to. This is an amazing thing, the insight that a human being has. The sense of selection of truth. That if the host is serving him a dinner, and the dinner is hefty, is very, very good. If the host leaves, the dinner disappears. You can't even eat the dinner. Why not? The dinner is a dinner only in the presence of the host.
Still eating.
The world is a world only in the presence of its creator.
He's still eating, even if the.
In what
host
way?
leaves.
No, he doesn't eat with her. In what way is this? Is the creator present? He wants it. He chose it. It's not bound by it.
It's not how or what?
Huh?
I'm sorry, you said
It's
what?
not bound by
Not
it.
down by it.
This is the principle of choice. If he had a reason for wanting it, so it's not him, it's his certain qualities that he likes. But he has no reason for wanting it. It is his personal choice that brings him in direct connection, in direct presence.
When we said eine da bei mehr chufetz, and we learned that on Eden there's not a choice to lachlifim be'im acheres efshar. The only choice was either to choose Am Yisrael or not. But to choose the other opposite is not possible. Now we're saying Anada b'mechufetz means
That's after the choice. That's after the bechirah. The bechirah is so profound that why not? He was free to choose it in the beginning because the choice is from the Etzem. The Etzem committed itself to this choice.
So before that bechirah was a possibility lachlif and b'macheres?
There was no yom acheres. He didn't have to machlif. He had to choose anything. Any day by mechofetz. Asem shel tzadikim, asem shel rishon. Not lachlifon. Lachlifon is only after the choice. Then it's a name from Kwez lachlifon. So you would think, saying that initially it was a free choice, so he can change his mind. So we say no. This choice is an essential commitment. That's what the choice is.
But how could it be that Anada b'mechufetz, if this is pnimiut atzma satanic, could the choice be
That's
opposite?
exactly what we're learning. That's what to want pnimiut atzma satanic, that itself is a choice.
It could have even gone against it.
Yeah. He's not bound by it. That's exactly. That's good. Now you get the point. He can go against himself. There is nothing. Nothing is disturbed. That can be more clear. Maaseh Horshoyim, not Choshech. You don't say Choshech. Maaseh Horshoyim, Maaseh Tzadikim, as he said in Medrash.
This my Sadiqim, this is the same thing what Shom was asking about changing to another nation. There was no other nation, there was no Ma'aseh Shom Sadiqim either, right? The point.
When it was Choshech and Oyer, first it was Choshech, and then he created Oyer. At that point, there is two things.
There was.
At this point, there is Choshech and Oyer.
And still.
Any day Mama Chofetz. Himmel Hakim, Vayal Hakim is Ha'oyer Kitoim, Hervei, L'anoeisem Nashem Tzatzadik.
I'm sorry, what did you say? The last thing?
Huh?
What was the last thing you said?
Vayal Hakim is Ha'oyer Kitoim.
Yeah.
That tells you that his Chofetz Masha Tzadik. This is a moment of choice. Come over here.
How could he even choose? How could he even think that he would choose? I'm sorry. How could he even think that he would choose the Ma'aser Shoyim? But that's not the point, obviously. But trying to get the point over here. Even though the Ma'aser Tzadikim represents pnimiut, the point is that he did not have to make a choice.
You didn't have to choose his pnimiut.
How are we supposed to think about that? What does that mean?
I have a good marshal. Today's world, they have a marshal for everything. We build a house, and the house has rooms, ramifications, walls, and all that. Used to be, not long ago, that an inside wall would camouflage completely the bricks and the roughness of the bricks. You would put on something very smooth, very well polished. This is a wall.
This is the what?
A wall has to be polished, right? Lately they came up. No, there's a special niceness, a rough wall.
Exposed bricks.
A rough wall with open beams. And that's what people choose. Because human beings are in fact very versatile. And they can say, this rough one, that's beautiful. See that one there? That's that which is finished is covering, is not touching the essence. This is not what's holding it. This is not the wall. This is facade. This is the real thing. Ma'aseh Hashem is the real thing. So they are polished. They want something. So they don't want anything.
Yeah, that's true.
All right. Okay, so as we said, can we underline that such
To
kuli
remain
canal?
on this call, press 1.
וזהו הבויכה בתוירו ומשעבד ישראל עם. This is the meaning of what we say. Abboiche b'Torah, chooses the Torah, chooses Moshe Avdei, and chooses Israel. It's a choice. Who is in competition with that? So we're saying that this choice is, he chooses to choose. Who says he has to choose anything altogether? However, the whole pnimi, in any pnimi, yesh bechinas chitzonius u'moisrois. There is the aspect of chitzonius, of that which is the apparent, that which shows itself on the outside, u'moisrois, and not only that, there is moisrois. Moisrois means excess. This is a very interesting, all-encompassing statement. The whole pnimi, yesh bechinas ketzenis and AyinBase. In every pnimi there is an aspect of ketzenis and AyinBase. This pnimi, why is there necessarily an infinite ketzenis and AyinBase? It is due to the fact that the pnimi is not just a projection, an idea. The pnimi is a real presence. And because it's a real presence, therefore there's chitzonius to moistus. Perhaps we'll come back to discuss this after there's a little bit more presentation. Just as a starter, I just want to give us something which we discussed a long time ago. a person has an idea. A person has an idea, has an invention. Has an invention. Now this invention, as we said many times, the invention starts off from a pnimiut perspective. For example, you say a car was invented in order to allow a person to go for long distances. That means that this invention is rooted in the sense that there is long distances and that there is meaning to travel these long distances. This is where it's based on. This is where it's coming from. These long distances, as they are on this level, so to speak, conceptual, the reason that the person even wants to travel long distances is that from this vantage point where he stands, the long distance, it is long only because it is Memokim Usman. But in essence, he said, Shomhu. He is there. It is because his spirit is encompasses this entire environment, this entire reality. Like we say all the time, when a person walks on the street, he doesn't walk on a narrow street. He walks on the entire globe, the entire earth, the entire world. That's his orientation. He's in reality. Except, practically speaking, he is here because he has a limited function at this moment. But essentially, he is everywhere. And this limited function is valid only because it is part of the entire reality. Here's a very simple illustration, because I hope that we don't use it. A house is a wonderful thing. Put up a house on the moon. It's accessible these days. You have a beautiful house. Is that a house? Is that a home? There is entire reality. There is that which encompasses this house. A house means a place to live in a livable place. The livability of it precedes the house, the place where you belong. This is what the world is. The world, the place that the Rebbe created for the human being, and he belongs there. We mention all the time. I made the earth and Adam I created on this earth. Not only create Adam, and I gave Adam the right to this earth. So when he builds a house, any place on the earth, he's building it, so to speak, within his own domain. This is the reason that he projects. He has to say, "Oh, maybe I should move to China." What's China? China is it's part of the reality of the world I live in.
Is it? I'm not sure what this is. Is this showing called pnimiut bechirah?
One second, okay. Project the mindset. I mean, we, Baruch Hashem, we knew from the Zohar that the earth is circular and so forth. But there was a time, not so far not so distant in the past, but people thought the earth is flat. And that ultimately, if you reach a certain point on the earth, you're going to fall off the cliff into nothingness.
Today just the people are flat.
Okay. Now, can we even relate? What kind of mentality, mindset is that?
It's foolish.
Then, when they, as they are trotting on the earth, they're in constant. There's no reality to it. They're trotting on a flat surface that's just hardly barely holds them up, and they're constantly in danger of losing it.
All around. It's not the right perspective.
What is the reality? What is the truth? The truth is that when we trot over here, the entire earth is engaged in giving us support. And it's not just a question of support. It's a sense of reality. There's an interesting thought that came to me. I will come back to this soon. Everything has pnimiut and has mesis and chitzonius. A human being, in order to build a home, he has to build one wall, another wall. In other words, he builds one dimension at a time. And then first one dimension, then two dimensions, then three dimensions. When he has three dimensions, then he has, so to speak, a whole structure. The Rebbe doesn't create in dimension. The Rebbe create only three dimensions. He creates the whole reality at once. And this is the domain in which Rebbe placed us in this reality. And this is where we function.
That is right. Anyway, so isn't it great? My friends went to high school together.
So now, there is the pnimiut of this, and then there is the chitzonius of this. Chitzonius, just like in a home. The pnimiut of the home is the space that the walls encompass. Where do we live? We don't live in the walls. We live in a place that it encompasses. This is the Eibishter's creation. No, we cannot create a house, a home. This is the Eibishter's creation. Then we demarcate certain areas in order to benefit, in order to use this pnimiut. But in order to use this pnimiut, we have to demarcate. This demarcation, this is the chitzonius. This is not what the house is. This is the chitzonius.
We had a lot of friends.
There's more to discuss in this. I just wanted, we should have a little bit of a handle.
This that you were explaining that the house has to be built on the house that's built on the moon is nothing on the earth. This is where that's to show the concept of pnimiut. What was the? I'm just trying.
Yes.
That's just the basic. This is the reality.
This is the pnimiut of having a home. What is the pnimiut of having a home? A home and within the proper domain. But then, that demarcates it from outside of the home. Therefore, there is a pnimiut, and then that which is outside, which is chitzonius, mesis.
Why does it call chitzonius mesis?
In order to access your home, for example, you have to have a sidewalk, you have to have a street, a sidewalk, and an entrance. This is not part of your home.
This is not even chitzonius.
This is the mesis. In order for this home to be within this environment, it has to have a sidewalk, and it has to have access. If we want to identify a pnimius kinyan, a home, and the home, as you said, identifying means within a domain, within an environment, you have to identify also the chitzonius of this home. How are you going to access it? All right, I said we'll get back to this, but this is what the Rebbe says. Just to give us an idea. The whole pnimius yesh bechirah chitzonius u'mesis. In any pnimius, meaning in any pnimius, not a pnimius in its inception, pnimius in its expression. In any pnimius that is being provided, is being revealed, there is bechirah chitzonius u'mesis.
Could it be called also a makaf? The chitzonius and moises.
No, it's chitzonius, because that's rejected. You don't make any sense. You choose this and not this.
But the walls itself is not a makaf. It surrounds the pnimius.
This is it surrounds the pnimius, but this surrounding the pnimius is in order to give the pnimius a pnimius.
What does a makaf in general means then?
Okay, this is
Okay.
so. This is not chitzonius u'mesis. Makif is not chitzonius. So b'chol pnimius b'chinas chitzonius u'mesis. V'zehu b'chinas chitzonius ha'rotzin v'atayna go'elyin. This chitzonius that is inevitably present in pnimi is that which is the chitzonius ha'rotzin v'atayna go'elyin shenim shebechol yishtalshus ha'elim eis. That ultimately is expressed in the entire hishtalushus oilams, the entire chaining down and development of the worlds. Shoshar shamahu, where the root of all the worlds is rag bechinas harotzin betainug elyoin. Rag betainug the chafetz chesed. I'm sorry. The shoirish of all the whole thing, the ishtalshus, is the rotzain and the tainug and the chofetz chesed. And this is all in the world in general. Even though this is also part of the rotzain, chofetz chesed, but this is the chitzonius. Ukmeshakosu, but it says, ki amarti oilam chesed yibon. What if that Kiyamati Oilam Chesed Yibon? Oilam Chesed Yibon, we understand. It means that the world is built with Chesed. What is Kiyamarti Oilam Chesed Yibon? I said it's Oilam Chesed Yibon. But Yodua, it is known the Amira Hu Belev. Amira, making a statement, Hu Belev is in the heart. The whole bechinas harotzin, and in the heart, this is the bechinas harotzin. Okay, this is so brief over here, but just if you're focusing, we'll understand what they're saying over here. To say. Making a statement means that there is the source, the maker of the statement, and where the statement is made, and outside. Now, there are two levels that we identify. Both are very very elusive, but nevertheless, there are two levels we all understand. There's what's called oineg and ratzono. If we focus in and understand the difference between oineg and ratzono, we would recognize the following. Oineg does not, the element of oineg does not recognize anything outside of the oineg. There is no outside. This is something which is completely encompassing, and I'm into it completely. Ratzono is also a pnimiut and a personal ratzono. But the whole principle of ratzono, the statement of ratzono is, I want. That means that there is possibility of not wanting it, and then there's a ratzono, then there's wanting. That's the difference between ratzono and oineg. Oineg does not. The reason one is misaneg, for instance. Just use a very simple. One likes a pickle. He likes a pickle not because the pickle is not sweet. Likes the pickle because of what the pickle is. If one wants the pickle to drown away a certain fullness, a certain feeling, yes, he wants it because it drowns away this other feeling. There's a contrast. In ratzono, there is a sense of chitzonius, of not what he doesn't want. In oineg, there isn't. Oineg is something which he is involved directly and completely. This is why Amira, Amarti, I say moral, which means there's an from choosing moral. This is in ratzono. In moral there is both. There is oineg also. But in Amarti, oilam chesed is in ratzono. Because in ratzono there has to be a statement. I'm going to do this.
Can you clarify what you said before about when you want to pickle? You said you wanted to chase away some other taste. What about if you just wanted lishmo?
I'm saying if you want it because you're the oineg, so then you're not chasing anything away. That's not ratzono. That's oineg.
So even if you don't have it and you want it, it's still oineg.
Yeah, it could be you like it because you like it. That's not because you want it, because you like it. Wanting means that you want to. There in ratzono there is always the external element. There's a sense of external. In oineg there isn't. I said you like a pickle not because it's not sweet. You like a pickle because of what it is.
Because it's sour?
You know,
I think that's what it is. I'm not clear by what you're saying. What do you mean that?
Because of the experience that you have from the pickle, and not because it is not a different experience, but because it is this experience. I think it goes directly to the heart of it. Ratzono talks about the effect of something. I want it, like I said, I want a pickle because something is stuck in my throat.
That's not oneg. That case is not oneg, yeah?
That's not oineg. That's just the effect of this.
And the other way around, the other way around, if you just want a pickle because you like it, that's called oineg, although you don't have it yet.
Yeah. If it is the liking, this is like oineg, right? Not because of anything. There's no external in it. That's what I'm saying. So when you say Amarti oilam chesed, when you talk about I said, the meaning I'm saying to myself. This is Amira Balev. This is a statement made, an internal statement. But this internal statement is expressing a ratzono rather than a
when we say that, like, we say it used to saying that the ratzono is a driving force, but really oinag is also a driving force. It's a force, right? I mean, it's.
Okay, we're not going into that. I just wanted to explain these words.
All right, sure.
It says, "Amate yodua da'amiru belev hu bechinas harotz." The amira applies to rotzin rather than to oinag. Oinag is not something that is no statement made about oinag. Rotzin, there's a possibility of statement. Why? Because rotzin implies one will versus another. This is essentially the difference between oinag and rotzin. Oinag does not recognize its opposite at all. Rotzin does.
And when you say, like, you said before, it's not only rotzin versus another rotzin, but it could be even having a rotzin versus not having a rotzin.
That's right.
Meaning,
This is not for nothing. I just wanted to explain this word. Oinag, amat amiro is belevu bechinas harotzin. Haina bechinas harotzin haposhut shelamayla min hachochma. What rotzin is this? Amat oilam chesed yibon. Talking about building the world from scratch. This is what's called rotzin haposhut. This is the initial choice to want us. Shelamayla min hachochma, that is above Chochmah. Chochmah is when some things are already identified after the fact. This is the Rotzon Poshu, which has no idea at all, internal. There was in the Rotzon HaPoshut. There is no compelling element in this Rotzon. There's no definitions in this Rotzon. In the ratzono HaPoshut, there was a manifestation and revelation and a surfacing of rotzin lahatzi v'liv, to create. This creating element, this creating the hatzel v'livroi. So there are two inyonim in this. Okay? This is where our distinction between oinag and rotzon will come handy. Again, we're not going out all the way, just to understand. From the oinag perspective, there is only that lahatzi v'livroi, and there is not any chitzonis in this. This is only that which is deposited. But matzad the rotzon, there is the essence what I want, in contrast to that which is secondary. Sheyesh b'zeh gam ken ribo yoy v'gilu. In this rotzon haposhut, that all of between hatze v'livroi, there is ribo yoy v'gilu. There's a lot of it says a lot, so to speak, about the Elokus. What is this rotzon about? And then this rotzon and this oil v'gilui is drawn, and it changes down from one level to the other. Each level with greater definition, with greater identity. Moving away from Rotzon Poshut and moving into a definitive Rotzon. Ad Oilam Azeh HaShof. Fill this lowly world.
So you should understand the pshat. So by ratzono is all v'gili, because on some level it's removed from him, so you're having a possible to say the concept of gilu. Mashe'en kein oineg, you're totally encompassed in the experience. It's one with you, so there's no union of ar v'gili. Zap shot.
Okay. This is the first beginning. This I just want to the point which he's saying over here. The point which we explained in the ratzono, there is a sense of wanting and not wanting. In oinig, there is no sense of oinig and knowing. Once there is oinig, there is not the sense of not oinig. In ratzono, once there is ratzono, there is a sense of not ratzono. Because ratzono is an active state. Oinig is a passive state. This is the reality. Now we're saying there's in the ratzono haposhut. Ratzono haposhut means there was absolutely no cause for this ratzono. But within the truth of Tammuz, there surfaced a ratzono to create. Within this ratzono, there's the central unit in the ratzono. What was revealed in this ratzono? What element in Atmos was revealed in this ratzono? Revealed in this ratzono is the desire to create. We said that's in from Chesed. So, but Omarti, there was a statement for that. This statement itself already acknowledged that this is this and not this. This is Chesed and not something else. If it is this and not this, then that automatically allows what's called chitzonius and moises.
No, I was talking about the words of Gili. So what's shot then? The Bechitzonis is of the Gili. I know I was questioning about the terminology.
Yeah.
That by Chatzonis there's of the Gili. That's what I was.
Oir the Gili, yeah.
Yeah. Well, that was my question. So what's shot is that the fact that ratzono, since you have a choice, meaning to say it's something separate from you in one degree, so you can have it, not have it is the Gili of the thing. Masha Ein Kain Einig. You're totally encompassed. You one with the experience, as well. You're one with the experience. There's no dichotomy of the mela of the Gili. Yeah. I don't understand that.
The difficulty with this is that the ratzono is also a personal ratzono. It's also a pnimiut, atzmisik ratzono. Except by ratzono, there's this aspect I said. By onig there is no I said.
And the of Gili means what? It's referring to that.
Oig Gili means that there is a revelation. There's a presence expressed by it. Oig Gili. We got ourselves into this, we'll have to take our time. All right, this will have to be it for the day. This morning.
Disconnected.